All right, I just finished Acts chapter 5. I did the back half of it. It was about 25 verses. And the background here is basically the apostles have been preaching about Jesus like crazy. And there's like a group of like religious leaders who believed in the same God that the apostles believed in, but they weren't sold on the fact that Jesus was the Son of God, so they didn't like that. These religious leaders were like, why are you preaching about this? Because they didn't think that was true. They didn't like that. They were higher up in the government than the apostles were, so they ended up having them arrested. And then God actually like miraculously freed the apostles from jail. Like it happened overnight. Like everyone like went to go get the apostles for breakfast the next day, and they were gone. And then they actually found them. The apostles immediately started preaching. The second that they were free, they started preaching again in the temples that these religious people actually owned, or were like a big part of. Not owned, but yeah, a big part of. And then this verse that really hit me was when they were like telling the apostles like, why are you doing this? Why are you preaching about Jesus? And Peter, one of the apostles, said, we must obey God rather than any human authority. And that hit me big time, because like so often I think we care about what other people think. What will this person think of me? If I tell somebody I don't want to drink, what will they think of me? If I tell somebody, I don't want to do this sin, what will they think of me? I'm trying to think of other examples. But there's plenty of times where people want you to do something that you might not feel comfortable doing. And it's okay to say no. They might not understand why you're saying no. They might not get it, but they don't have to get it. Because the thing I wrote down is, at the end of the day, when you look at life through an eternal perspective, one day we are going to die, and one day we are going to face God. The people's opinions don't matter. If they think you're a loser because you don't want to do this stuff that they want you to do with them, that's fine. All that matters is God's opinion. So don't be so fazed on what other people think of you. It doesn't matter. Jesus' opinion of you is what matters. So if people don't understand you, if people don't get you, live with that. As long as God gets you, that's all that really matters. So I had two takeaways, like two big takeaways, and that was my first one. Like, God's opinion matters way more than what someone else thinks of you. If someone else thinks, I don't know, that you're missing out on life, that you're not living your life right, let it be, It's not that serious in the long run, as long as Jesus says the right opinion of you and you have a good relationship with Jesus. That's ultimately what matters. So don't worry so much about what other people think of you. Jesus knows the truth. And then I talked about Jesus being the truth. So apostles get freed. They immediately start going, spreading the gospel everywhere, preaching Jesus. And then like one of the religious leaders, like, we got to kill these people. Like, they cannot keep spreading the word of Jesus. And then this one guy, I don't even know how to say his name, Gamaliel, I think, expert in religious law, it says, respected by all the people of the town of Israel, or the nation of Israel, stood up, and basically he was saying, like, hold up, like, we can't fully kill them yet. He goes, a long time ago, right? Not a long time ago, but some time ago, there was a fellow named Thaddeus. He also pretended to be sent from God, right? Got all these followers, just like the apostles followed Jesus. Got all these followers. Then Thaddeus dies. All his followers forget about him. No one's preaching he came back from the dead. No one's preaching he did all these miraculous things. They just forgot about him and moved on with their lives. Then Judas of Galilee, he goes, same story. I'm sent from God. I'm sent from God. Judas gets killed. Where did his followers go? He had all these followers. They just forgot about him. Never said that he did any miracles. Never said that they saw him raised from the dead. Nothing. And then a guy named Jesus comes along. Jesus gets all these followers. Same thing. I'm sent from God. I'm the Son of God, he says. Gets all these followers. Dies. Now, all these people are going, no, I saw him raised from the dead. I saw him later. I've encountered Jesus after he died. And that's the difference between those things. Like they truly do believe that they saw Jesus after, that he was performing all these miraculous signs. And you say, like, how do you know they're not lying? Well, then all these apostles, all 12 of them, basically got told, you can either admit that you don't believe in Jesus and live, or admit that you really do think Jesus is the Son of God, but if you admit that, we're going to kill you. And all 12 of them were willing to die. So I wrote down, what person dies for a lie? You are only willing to die for something if you think it's the truth. And I think 12 people who are willing to suffer brutal, brutal deaths, like literally beheaded, hung from a cross upside down, all these things. Why would you do that for a lie? There's no point. I think there's only one reason that all 12 of them were willing to suffer brutal deaths, because Jesus Christ is the truth.